Hi, welcome back to the Pickies channel. First things first, don't forget to subscribe below. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about marriage and divorce, the financial readiness side of it. So before you get married, you should be having a talk with your significant other about finances. One of the leading causes of divorce is finances. Usually it's because there are disagreements on purchases or how much they want to save, how much they want to put towards to retirement. So I would suggest having that talk with your significant other before you get married. But if you're already married or you just got married, you went off and eloped or something, I don't know. First thing first is you need to go to Deers. So you'll go into Deers and then they'll get the marriage certificate uploaded and put them on as a dependent on your, I guess you would say, profile. So whether it's civilian or military, you have to go to Deers to make sure that it's in there. Because when it comes to applying for the MAC program, if you are do military, first thing they're going to ask for is Deers. So after you've had your Deers enrollment, I would suggest you look at your next LES to make sure it has been updated. And then make sure that you go to finance, you give them your marriage certificate so that you can get that BAH that you probably weren't getting. Or if they're a civilian, you can now get that dependent pay added on to your pay. Another reason why going to Deers first is so important is because you need to make sure that your significant, if your spouse is a civilian, you need to make sure that they have that ID card so that they have access to all the facilities that they need to have access to just in case you were to be deployed or of such. And this is also the time you need to be updating your DD-93 or SGLV. If you want everything, if something were to happen to you, go to your spouse. You should update it because I know some people like me, before I got married, I had my parents on there as a primary, and now I have my spouse. So if that's something that you want to update, you should probably do that as soon as you get married and not hold on to it and wait. So the next thing we're going to talk about is divorce. So when your divorce is finalized, I would suggest you go down to finance office first to show that you have a divorce, and so you can get that extra pay stopped. Because if you wait a long time to turn in your divorce decree to finance, you are going to be in debt. There was an NCO that came to finance office not too long ago, and he had a divorce that was finalized 3 years ago and was upset because the Army wanted to backdate his pay. He waited 3 years to bring in his divorce decree to get his pay stopped. So that's not our fault, it's his fault. So they will put you in debt if you do not turn in your divorce decree. So as soon as it's finalized, your first stop need to be financed so that you don't acquire thousands of dollars in debt. And another thing that you should start updating is your SGLV, your DD-93. We have had times where new spouses have came in and the service member had passed away, but the service member never updated the DD-93 or the SGLV, so all their stuff is going to their ex-spouse. So I would say you need to start updating your SGLV and DD-93. Also, that should be your next thing you do after you stop by the finance office. This is also a time where you need to start having you need to start having a conversation before the divorce is finalized on how are y'all going to close your joint accounts, how are y'all going to split y'all assets, and things of that nature before everything is finalized. So that way, when everything is finalized, you already have it in writing of what's actually going to happen. Which brings me to my next thing of your retirement. So it was brought to my attention that a lot of service members don't know, if you are married to your spouse for 10 consecutive years while you are serving in the Army. So if you're married for 10 years and you've been in the Army for 10 years or whatever branch you are in, and y'all decide to get a divorce, your spouse is entitled to 50% of your retirement. So unless you get in writing your divorce decree where your spouse is giving up all rights to your retirement, at your retirement they can come back and ask for 50% because they have rights to it unless they waive their rights in that divorce decree. So I would make sure in your divorce decree that if you decide to get a divorce, that you get that in writing where they're waiving their rights away to your retirement. The next thing that you need to make sure gets changed is your taxes. Make sure that you aren't filing and still claiming them on your taxes if that was something that you were doing. And then you need to make sure that you take them off your DEERs. So they shouldn't still be having access to your health care if you were married to a civilian, and all those benefits if you're divorced. You need to make sure that they get their DEERs, that they get their information removed from your DEERs. And if you have any properties or cars or policies, you need to make sure that they all get updated. Make sure that your vehicles and your house is in your name. However y'all decide to split that up, but you need to make sure everything is updated and is only in your name, and y'all don't still have joint accounts or policies or titles with y'all, both of y'all names on it. I'm sorry for my voice, y'all. I got a little cold, but I'm gonna have a new video coming out next week, so please stay tuned.